I'm Trevor Shirley, and we all know that drinking and driving is never a smart combination. Coming up at 11, I'll tell you what police are doing tonight to keep drunk drivers off the roads and why there's also an increased risk tonight that you yourself might end up with a DUI. As you can see behind me, the checkpoint is in full swing right now with police doing their best to keep drunk and impaired drivers off the road. Now, earlier they told me that while there might be a few backups and some delays, they say it's generally a quick process that ultimately saves lives. Running into a sobriety checkpoint probably wasn't a part of the evening's plans for most Bloomington residents Friday night, but nonetheless, many drivers were stopped as part of the initiative by Indiana State Police to cut back on the number of drunk drivers.
Regarding the number of DUIs that we have statewide, it's been a goal of the Indiana State Police to reduce the number of intoxicated drivers on the roadway.
Police said the checkpoint, located on South Walnut Street in front of Bloomington High School South, was put in that location given the area's history with alcohol-related crashes.
In March, this area is a high DUI crash area, so that's why we're going to focus our efforts on this area tonight.
All drivers in the southbound lane were required to submit to a visual inspection, where officers then determined whether or not a breath test was needed. And while most were in and out of the checkpoint in no time, others weren't so lucky. During the past 2 years, Monroe County has seen an increase in the number of alcohol-related crashes and deaths, a trend that's prompting more checkpoints like the one tonight. And while the ultimate hope is that these checkpoints would catch no one driving impaired, police know that's an idealistic hope.
Unfortunately, we tend to find a few that are having through our checkpoints.
But they also know there's only one way to be sure of avoiding any hang-ups at a checkpoint like this.
Find a sober driver and avoid this area if you can at all possible.
Now, police told us that they're not sure how many cars they'll actually end up checking tonight. They said that all depends on traffic volume for the specific location, but they did tell us that in times past, sometimes they'll check upwards of 100 cars. Now, something interesting to note, at this checkpoint, it's not a random check. Not every second car, every third car is checked. Every driver going through the checkpoint is given a visual evaluation, at which point officers will then determine whether or not a field sobriety test is needed. Now, everyone we talked to told us that they didn't mind the slight delays waiting in line 1 or 2 minutes because they said at the end of the night it ultimately saves lives and makes the streets here safer for drivers. Reporting live in Bloomington, Trevor Shirley, WTIU News.